Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then hi, my name is Erica, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the behavior of a YouTuber who goes by Leila's Life. Now, from what I could tell from the videos I have watched of her, and I've been watching a few videos of her for the past 2 days since she's been on my radar because of a community post made by Sincerely Sharon. That's what put Leila's Life on my radar, and from what I can see, she does a lot of reactions to channels like Jess Ham and like those family vloggers, but she seems particularly interested in Jess Fam because I guess she was friends with her at some point, so now she kind of reacts to her videos and will say stuff like, back when I was friends with her, this happened and that happened, which is its own issue in and of itself, but for right now I'm not gonna go there. But anyway, she has about 3.6k subscribers, so she is a bit bigger than me, and she does a lot of these reaction videos. But she is very problematic in my opinion. She has said stuff that is racist. She has just said nasty things about people, and then she'll justify it by saying something like, oh, well, these family vloggers don't know me. They're not sitting there crying about it, so why should you be offended? Because Leila, you don't get to tell people whether they're offended by something or not. If somebody is offended by something, they're offended by that, and you don't get to say, oh, well, you can't be offended by that. That's not a thing. And then at the same time, when she gets called out for her nasty behavior, she'll be super defensive and be like, well, if you don't like it, then don't watch. But aren't your watchers just sharing their opinion just like you are? So you shouldn't be offended because they don't know you, right? Is that how that works?
That's my opinion. Don't get offended by my opinion. If these people aren't getting offended by my opinion, you guys don't need to get so offended by my opinion. I don't even think I'm saying the words right because they're too, similar. Don't get offended by my opinion, bitch. It's just my opinion. Brittany and Jessica are not sitting at their house crying about what Leila said in the video. Chill the freak out, bro.
No, that's not how that works. So, and another thing, she allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because I would not like to be sued here, GROOM'd a teenager who is now in her early 20s and is dating Leila. And Leila will say she posts about her age gap relationship to help other people in age gap relationships. But no, Leila, you're helping GROOMers justify their behavior, which is not okay. And this is someone that Leila has said was like a daughter to her. Like back 5 years ago, she would say things in videos like, oh, she's like my daughter, and now they're dating. That's not weird. That's not weird at all. That's not creepy. Let me tell you, if one of my parents was dating somebody my age who was one of my friends or something, I would not be okay with that. I would probably not be talking to that parent for the time being because I that just goes against my morals, especially if they knew this person as a minor, and this person was like another child to them, and then they developed a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship, any type of relationship. I would not be okay with that. And that's not because I'm a prude or anything. It's just because the power dynamic when you knew somebody as a child and they were like a child to you and you kind of raised them in a way, even if like they have parents involved so you didn't raise them, but like they spent a lot of time with you and you were an adult figure in their life, and then you end up dating them the second or a few seconds after they turn of age. And when I say a few seconds, I mean this could be like a few years. They could be like 19 or 20, and then you pounce on that and you start dating them. That's a very uneven power dynamic, because you are an adult who influenced them in their formative years, and now you are in a relationship with them. And I just don't think that's okay. I think it's gross, and I think it has the potential for some very harmful behavior on the part of the older person, because this person like basically feels safe with them because they knew them as a child. And to me, it's just weird. I know people have their opinions on age gap relationships, and I'm not saying all age gap relationships are like that, so please don't get me wrong here. But when you knew somebody when they were a child and you were a like parental figure, even if you weren't like a parent or a guardian of this person, like if it's your best friend's mom and you're always over their house, and then they start dating you when you are then of age, that has the potential for lots of harm, lots of controlling behavior, and just it's not a good power dynamic in my opinion. And Leila gets very mad when people say this to her. And I know Leila, her ex-husband allegedly was abusive to her. I'm not saying allegedly because I don't believe her, because I do believe her. I'm saying allegedly so that the ex-husband does not try to sue me, because I don't have all of the facts. I just believe victims and survivors. But the reason I'm saying allegedly is so that I don't get sued. But one of the arguments she makes when somebody like comments, because her ex-husband made videos about the alleged GROOMing this teenager who is now in her early 20s. So she's like, you believe a man who beat me and this and that. But it's like, this isn't about your ex-husband. This is about your behavior. I don't care what he's saying, because I'm not listening to him. I'm listening to you, and both past videos and present videos of you discussing this relationship you have with this person who is like 20 years your junior. That's what I'm basing my opinion off of. It's not off of what your ex-husband is saying. I don't care what he's saying. Because, I mean, that could be just because he's mad and he wants to get back at her. So I'm not going to focus on what he's saying, because that's hearsay. I watch a lot of Judge Judy, so. But something I wanted to read was a comment that one of, I guess, her subscribers left on her video about her age gap relationship. I took a screenshot and I will put it up on the screen because I know it can be hard to understand me when I am reading aloud because I tend to stutter a lot. 1 second. So it says here, wow, Leila, so Kevin was actually telling the truth? You've been involved with her since long before she turned 18. You GROOM'd her. That's so disturbing. You've thought of her like your daughter at one point. Not that it matters to you, but I'm disappointed you tried to play us and act like it wasn't a thing. It's not the fact if she's a woman, it's the fact of her being a child when you met and you were a grown woman with your own child her age. Shake my head. And so then, of course, Leila responds to this comment, and she writes to this person, I've never seen you comment before, ever. You aren't disappointed in anything. Crying, laughing emoji. You are only here for drama. No, I haven't been involved with her, but I also don't need to prove that. You can always unsubscribe. Don't we all love that argument? You can always unsubscribe. But I'm sure you'll still watch. Smiley face. Happy holidays. Also, maybe you should date Kevin, and when he beats you and your children black and blue, don't reach out to me. You were warned. Bye for now. What the hell? This person isn't defending your ex-husband. They're saying his power dynamic in your relationship is concerning. And they're allowed to have that opinion. Don't just tell people, oh, well, if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. Like, people are allowed to have their opinions just as you are allowed to have your opinions on Just Fam and the people you comment on. Now, another one thing I forgot to add was she made fun of Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast's wife, and like I understand that she's doing that because he makes fun of women all the time, but that doesn't justify it. Number one, because his wife is not doing this, it's him, so she's like an innocent party in this. And then number two,
what does your wife's vagina smell like, Joshua?
It's just not okay to make fun of people. Like, use an actual argument instead of stooping to their level. And if you cannot do that, then honestly, why do you have a YouTube channel? Also, I don't think it's okay that she included a picture of his family. I realize he posts his family on the internet, but I just, it's odd. So yeah. Third thing I want to get into is her using the term white trash to describe both herself and Jess from Jess.
I know she was so excited. That was one of her white girl dreams. She lived out one of her white girl dreams, you guys, was to go down that water slide like that. I promise you, there are some girls like that. Now look, I was born and raised in Modesto, okay? I understand white trash. I am going to go shopping for her next week and buy her some new clothes because, god damn it, if you don't just change up the wardrobe, you can take the girl out of Modesto, but you cannot take the white trash out of Jessica. My god, every outfit is like what I wore in the late 90s or early 2000s. The cutoff shorts and every pose is with the leg up. We gotta help her evolve.
Now, the term white trash is problematic because it's insinuating that trash is non-white. So you have to qualify that these are trashy white people because typically the trashy people are not white. So they might be black or Latino, I don't know. But they're basically saying white people aren't trashy, but non-white people are, which is inherently problematic. And number one, it feeds into racism, and it feeds into classism. People aren't trashy if they are poor or if they dress a certain way. People aren't trashy because of the color of their skin. And she's probably going to argue, well, I was married to a black man and now I'm dating a black girl. Save that argument because, I mean, she is dating a black girl. Notice how I said girl and not a woman because this girl is younger than me. So let's just be clear about that. But it doesn't matter if you've dated black people, if you were married to black people, if you have black children, you can still be racist. You can still perpetuate racism. And I know people are probably going to clown on me for separating ray and cyst or ray and schism, but I do that because YouTube does not like that word, and I do not want to get shadow banned or demonetized, so I try to cover my back.
But I also said what I meant.
And another thing I want to say is that I feel like Leila will insult somebody and then justify it and be like, oh, well, I didn't mean to. And
I will admit that sounded, and it looks like a combination of things. And the more somebody tells you they're fine, the more they're not okay. When you are using something and it makes you feel good, and it makes you feel like you forget your childhood trauma or your adult trauma or how shitty your current life is, or how shitty your life was before, or some of the shitty mistakes you made, whenever you start to use something and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm so much better now than I was before, you have unresolved issues. Amen to that. You have unresolved issues that you really need to work on. And I have seen this before, like firsthand, and it's really sad to me. Could I have gone about it differently? What the fuck was that? Probably. But let me tell you, Janelle, because you're not communicating back to me, we're kind of talking through somebody at this point. Okay, and I just want to tell you I'm sorry. I hate when somebody comes to me to apologize or to say they did something wrong and all they do is explain why they did it to me. Oh well, you did it to me and it hurt my feelings. So Janelle, please listen to me. I am sorry. I'm sorry if what I said offended you. I'm sorry if I implied that you are doing something that you're not doing. You just truly, literally kind of like halfway scared me, but then also it just made like things go off, and I don't know. So instead of, like I said,
in her one video about Janelle, who is one of Jess's ex-friends, she was alleging that Janelle in this video was on some type of a substance, or she was drunk. She was just not sober. In that video is basically what Leila said. So then I guess they have a mutual friend who like contacted Leila and said that Janelle was offended by that video, and so then Leila made an apology video. And the reason I put apology in air quotes is because in it she said, I'm not going to justify why I did it. But I thought this because she didn't seem sober, she didn't seem happy, and I've been there before. So you're basically saying I'm not going to justify my actions, but this is why I did what I did. And the whole, but this is why, is justifying your actions. So that's not really an apology. Now, Leila loves to say I'm not a feminist.
It's not because I'm a feminist. I'm a bitch, not a feminist. Now,
I'm not politically correct, so if you don't like that, don't watch it. People use the whole, well, I'm not politically correct as an excuse to just be offensive and to not learn and grow and to respect other people, which is not okay. You don't just get to say, oh, well, I'm not a politically correct person, so if you don't like it, just don't watch. Like, no, I'm still gonna call you out on your BS, on your problematic behavior, on you tearing down the way people look, on you making assumptions whether or not somebody's sober, on you, like, saying that one of Jessica's kids' fathers is not the real father. Like, this shit is harmful. When that child grows up, if they go and search themselves online and they see that, how do you think they're going to feel about that? Probably not very good, I would assume. So, Leila, you don't realize that you're actually causing harm. You think you're just like trolling and being stupid and being real on the internet and saying what other people are thinking, but what you're saying can actually be harmful, and you need to keep that in mind when posting videos on the internet. And if you don't keep that in mind, people are going to call you out, and that's their prerogative. If I want to call you out, if I want to say this behavior is problematic and here's why, I'm allowed to do that just as much as you're allowed to be problematic. Like, you're allowed to be problematic. I'm not saying you're not, but if you are, you're going to be called out on it. So that's pretty much all I had to say today. If you learned something, if you found this interesting, I guess if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you would like to see more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.